Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Another games I've played recently video. I wasn't expecting to do one of these so soon, but I've been kind of juggling a bunch of different games at once, and I've actually beaten a couple games fairly recently. So instead of doing a bunch of impressions videos, I thought I'd just do this video. Before I start though, did anyone else catch Game of Thrones on Sunday night? Like, my god, no spoilers for the people that haven't gotten to see the new episodes yet, or those that are waiting for like until the whole season is out, which I can't believe people are able to do that. Like, I couldn't resist. But man, that last episode, Jesus, like, oh. For those that have seen it, man, like, I'm still like thinking about that episode, man. Like, it was a doozy. But seriously, that show is like my second favorite show of all time now, and it's not even over yet. Hopefully, it can end strong. If that show ends strong, like if the books end strong, the show ends strong, it will be my favorite show of all time. Like, it's crazy good. Anyways, enough of that. Games I've been playing recently. We'll start with this one. Silent Hill Downpour. The reason I played this is because I want to actually play through all the Silent Hill games to do a Silent Hill series review, similar to my Tales series review and my Zelda series review that I did. I'm probably going to do it in October. I know last year I did that October horror gaming marathon. This year I'll do a Silent Hill series review. And this was one of the ones I needed to play. In fact, the only one left I need to play, there's two. It's Silent Hill Homecoming. I haven't played that. So I'm on the lookout for a PS3 copy of that game. And Book of Memories on the Vita, which I got a Vita, actually. That's a new bit of news. I got a Vita. I found a crazy deal for one on Kijiji. No games yet. I gotta still pick up some games for it, but finally have the Vita, so that's exciting. But Book of Memories seems kind of interesting. It's not. I don't know if I would consider that a Silent Hill game. I don't know. That game's really cheap now too. I saw it for like $12 at EB Games. I should pick that up and play it. I know it's like a dungeon crawler type game, but I don't know. I think I might still want to talk about that game for my series review, but I don't think I'm going to include it on like the top ranking list. But Downpour, I don't want to talk too much about this because I do want to wait till that video. Overall, it's okay. Like, this game is completely lacks in any kind of atmosphere or tension or scare factor. Like, it is, like, downright... Honestly, it's pretty boring, this game, I thought, for as far as Silent Hill goes. I didn't think the story was all that great. It's got some of the best combat in the series, but that's not saying much because the combat still isn't all that great in this game. I don't know. The Nightmare World stuff in this I thought was really tedious. I don't know. I had a lot of issues with this game, but it's still okay. I mean, I don't know. Again, I'll talk more about this later, but I did finish this. It was like an 8-hour game. It's pretty short, but I did play this. So look out for that Silent Hill series review where I'll go a bit more in depth on this game. The next game is a PC game. Well, it's actually on a bunch of different consoles. I had the Steam version for the longest time, and that's Rocksmith 2014. Now, I needed the cable for this because I've got like an Ibanez Geo, I think it's called. Like, it's my brother's guitar, but it's just lying around and it never gets used. And I thought a guitar is always one of those things I wanted to learn, but I've always tried. But after like a week or so, I start to lose interest. But Rocksmith 2014 is kind of neat in the way that it's set up. Like, there's just all sorts of cool ways that it gets you, how you learn different things on the guitar. Like, you've got like these mini games where you got to play chords to like destroy spaceships and stuff. It's really neat, and you've got a bunch of different songs on there that you kind of learn, and you have to go for like a mastery level. The notes are really simple at first, but the better you play, the more notes are added, and eventually, like, it plays like Rock Band in a way, but eventually they'll take the notes away from you, so you're playing the entire song perfectly, just as you would on the actual guitar. And it's a really cool learning tool. I think it might hold my interest. I've been playing like an hour a day or so, and I'm hoping I can continue with that. And who knows, maybe a year from now I'll be semi-decent at guitar, or not absolutely terrible like I am right now. Great soundtrack on this game. A lot of good songs. But it's there's not really much to say about Rocksmith. If you have always wanted to learn guitar, but you're like me and kind of just lose interest and get bored because it always feels like work, you might want to check out Rocksmith. It makes learning fun. It's definitely a neat game slash learning tool. Then there's two games. The first one is like both of these are PC games that I've only put in actually a couple hours into, and I'm probably going to come back to them later because I'm just not quite in the mood for these types of games. The first one is Valdis Abyssal Story on the PC. I think it's on Steam. This is actually a pretty interesting game. It's like a Metroidvania type game with some really neat kind of hack and slash combat. A semi-interesting story, a really gorgeous art style, and an incredible soundtrack. The soundtrack really blew me away from what I've played of this game. I've only played like an hour or two, but it's got really inventive bosses too that are really tough to take down. As far as Metroidvania style games go, I mean, there's nothing insanely new here. You've got your skill trees, and you can pick your character in the beginning. But for what it is, it's like a really well done example of a game like this. And I was, even though I was having a lot of fun with the first couple hours I've put into this, I'm just not quite in the mood for a game like this. And there is one game I want to focus on, but I'm definitely going to come back to this game, and it's pretty cheap, I think, on Steam. So if you ever see it on sale or whatever, definitely check it out. It's from what I've played, it seems to be a very underrated game. I think it came out last year. The next game is Planescape Torment, a really old computer RPG. I think it came out like 97. Really well-regarded PC RPG that I know has a heavy emphasis on storytelling. It's Dungeons and Dragons. It has something to do with Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know anything about Dungeons and Dragons, so someone will probably correct me on that or something. I just don't know anything about it, but I know it's related. And it's like it's Diablo-esque kind of like game where you kind of click around the screen where you move, and then you click on the enemies to attack them. A bunch of different weapons and armor. It seems pretty basic as far as gameplay goes, but there's a lot of dialogue in this game. I've heard it's an amazing game. I'm not quite in the mood for a game like this, so I did only put in like an hour or two, and already I'm like lost. I don't know where to go. It's probably old school in that sense where it's probably kind of hard to get through the game at times to know exactly what you're supposed to be doing. You kind of create your own. Well, you don't really create your own character. Like your character is like called the Nameless One. He kind of like awakes in this mortuary, and like with all the your memory's gone. I know that's kind of like a cliche thing, but apparently this game does it in a very interesting way. So I don't know. I didn't quite get a feel for the story just yet, but I've heard it's really good. I don't know. I'm not quite in the mood for just like an old computer RPG like this. I've been playing a lot of PC games lately. I have no idea why, but the game I'm currently playing is not a PC game. But I have heard such amazing things about this game. I know it didn't sell well upon release, but it's one of those games that it's highly ranked in a lot of like top RPG lists. So I'm definitely going to be coming back to it at some point. I just don't know exactly when yet. Okay, the next game is Watch Dogs. This is probably the game I'm going to be talking about the most here, because I really wanted to do an impressions video, but I don't know. I thought I'd just give my thoughts here. I'm going to try not to go too long on this game. I got the PC version of this, and this was a pretty hyped up game for me at first. When they first showed this game off at E3 a couple of years ago, I was blown away, to be honest. Like, I thought this looked incredibly original, and the way they showed it off made the story seem really interesting, and I liked how dark it looked, and the visuals were absolutely stunning. The atmosphere looked amazing. And then the more they showed gameplay of this game, the less interested I became. It started to look like the typical open world game where it's just, Grand Theft Auto with hacking. And then a lot of like that typical Ubisoft kind of like really repetitive side missions that they beat you over the head with. And then the story looked less interesting the more we saw the game. And the main character, Aiden Pierce, looked very boring. So my hype kind of died down. And then the game came out not too long ago. And I couldn't resist. I bought it because I'll admit, I'm kind of a sucker for open world games. I do like them a lot. But not in the ways some people do. Like, I don't really get sidetracked with like the side activities in open world games. I usually just kind of plow through the main storylines because I found a lot of open world games have like appealing storylines to me. But I bought it just because, it seemed like it would still be pretty fun, and I got a pretty good deal on it for the PC version. I'm really regretting buying this though. It's been reviewing well, but I gotta say, with my hype, like even though my hype died down with this game, I'm still come away very disappointed with it. For one, the PC version it's a mess. It's really poorly optimized. Like I have a pretty powerful PC, and it a lot of people are getting like insane stuttering problems, and I get that too. I've got like all my settings set on like high, and most ultra, and then some are on high settings, which people even have like top of the line video cards are getting this stuttering issue. They're working on a patch, but I don't think it's out yet still. And I've beaten the game. So that's annoying. It happens a lot when you're driving like really fast. Like it has problems loading in all the assets, I believe. So there's that, and then the Uplay servers are completely broken. Like the online in this game, which seems really cool. It just doesn't work on the PC version. Like the game looks great when it runs fine and there's no stuttering. Like it looks actually pretty damn fantastic. But it runs pretty well generally. But if you do want this game, go for the PS4 version. Do not get the PC version. I definitely made a mistake there. But I'm probably more disappointed in this game for everything else. The story, first off, I thought I guess it was interesting enough to keep me going. I probably would have quit the game if not for that, but it's definitely not that great. Like I said before, though, Aiden Pierce is a very uninteresting character. I mean, there's a lot of like family drama in this game that is just because Aiden's such an uninteresting character. I didn't care about this family drama that happened throughout the game. I just didn't care about the main character, and that's a pretty big problem, I think. A lot of the side characters in the game I thought were kind of dull as well. And because there's so few characters, a lot of the twists in the story are very easy to predict. There's one character that's awesome, Jordy. He's like this assassin character that's really funny. He's got great lines, and he's. I wish we got to like see more of him. Like he's hardly in the game, and he's definitely the most interesting character. The main antagonist is really weak, I thought, and I found him like more annoying than threatening. And it's just I don't know. Like the story just didn't seem to work with me. There's a lot of really like angsty dialogue in this game that just really falls flat and just is pretty laughable, to be honest. And yeah, the twists are so predictable towards the end. The ending I wasn't big on. I don't know really why I was able to, why it kept me interested though throughout. Like I mean, like I finished the game. Maybe it's because the actual gameplay can be fun at times, which I guess I'll talk about that now. Again, my disappointment with this game comes from the fact that it is such a typical open world game that hardly does anything to set itself apart from other games in the genre. Of course, you have the hacking, which could have been really cool, and it is in some instances, but it's honestly kind of half-baked. There's not really much you can do in terms of hacking. Like you can like hack different things to like explode if an enemy's near it. You can like throw like these lures out and like activate them, and like guards will be attracted to them, and you can like stop traffic lights if you're in like a car chase, or like have steam pipes burst from underneath the roads. But like I found like there just wasn't many options to use your hacking abilities, and like which was kind of a shame because I wanted to get creative, and I felt like the game there wasn't enough there for me to get really creative. And a lot of these missions are like infiltrating an area with tons of different enemies, and then utilizing the environment and your hacking skills to take them all out. In the first like 10 hours or so of this game, I thought I was having a lot of fun with it because I was just messing with all the different things I could do. But once you reach that point, like the 10-hour mark, you've seen everything the game has to offer as far as the hacking goes. And it wasn't until like the very final mission where something interesting happened, where I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of cool. But I don't know, I was kind of let down with the hacking aspect. It's very basic too. You just like hold X on all the different things you want to hack. There's like hacking puzzles in the game too, where you have to like hack security cameras, and then with that security camera, you'll like look at another security camera and then hack that one, and kind of like move through these environments that way to get to an objective. There was a lot of that in the game, and it got really old really fast, I thought. A lot of stealth missions with... This is a big pet peeve of mine. Instant fail stealth missions where if you're caught, mission failed, you go back like 20 minutes or so and do this section all over again. Like, I really can't stand that stuff. That said, though, the stealth in this game, when in the areas where if you get caught you can just go guns blazing, I thought the stealth worked pretty well. It was fun trying to be stealthy in this game at times. It's just when those instant fail stealth missions came up, I got really irritated. There's like these hacking mini games where every time you hack into a server or whatever, you gotta like these. It's like the pipe mini game in BioShock, and you have to do this mini game so many fucking times. It gets old like by the 5-hour mark. Towards the end of the game, I was dreading any time I had to do one of these hacking mini games. Like, I don't know, I just found it completely uninteresting. And the mission design in general, every single mission I've seen before in like Grand Theft Auto. You've got your tailing missions, you've got your car chase missions, you've got your follow a guy undetected missions, you've got your go through an entire place mowing down every enemy mission. There's just nothing innovative to in terms of the missions, and I thought the hacking would bring that, and it really didn't, unfortunately. And like with a lot of open world games, especially Ubisoft ones like Assassin's Creed games, there's tons of different side activities for you to do, but once you've done it once, I didn't feel the incentive to do more of them. They've kind of felt very repetitive after a while. There's like all these different markers on your world map, and I just never felt the need to do any of them after trying them only once. There's a few cool mini games called like Digital Trips, where it's like a virtual reality thing. There's one in particular where you like play as like a robot spider, and you're like destroying the city and destroying people, and you can like upgrade your spider's abilities. That I thought was kind of fun. Some of those digital trips are kind of fun, but for the most part, I thought the side stuff was just incredibly repetitive. Similar to, say, the Assassin's Creed games, which this game, it felt a lot like that. Now, the city, Chicago, is fantastic. There's a lot of life to the city. It feels like this living, breathing world, which more so than most open world games, actually. There's tons of civilians all over the place. It feels just very alive, and I love that. And visually, it's stunning. And it doesn't take too long to get from one side of the map to the other, and there's like outskirts of Chicago, which are really nice. So that was cool. And the car chases, like I said before, there's car chases where you have to like take down cars, but you can't shoot out of windows in this game. And there's just not too many options in terms of taking down these cars. So those missions can go on forever sometimes, which I found kind of annoying. There is some fun to be had with this game, don't get me wrong. I had a lot of fun early on kind of figuring out how to take all these guys out in certain areas. And the gunplay itself is actually pretty solid, I gotta say. I wasn't expecting the gunplay to be all that great, but it is. There's a lot of weapons. When you get a weapon, it stays in your inventory forever, which is actually something I really liked, that I didn't have to keep constantly going to the weapon shops and buying weapons. You've got your clothing shops, and which, by the way, I hate the character design of Aiden Pierce. Ugh, I just really hated that. The music, the original soundtrack is actually fantastic. A lot of like synth-heavy songs, very techno-driven, which fits the mood of the game. The licensed soundtrack, on the other hand, is a hot pile of garbage. Like probably one of the worst licensed soundtracks I've heard in a long time. It's basically a lot of, well, I guess maybe some of it has to depend on like taste, but for me, it's like it was a bunch of like really bad hip hop and like pop punk and what else? Almost that was pretty much it, actually. Those are like the only genres covered. I mean, there's a couple like soul songs, which I'm not too big into soul music. There's like one jazz song. Hardly any. There's no metal. Like the rock songs are very, pop rock type songs. There's two songs I liked in the entire game. There's a Smashing Pumpkins song and a Rise Against song that I liked. That was it. There was two songs I listened to in the entire game, which was like pretty sad. But I'm sure there's more I talk about with this game. But I don't know. I couldn't help but feel disappointed with it. It's unless you absolutely love open world games and it seems interesting to you. I'd say it's kind of hard to recommend. I'm sure the online might be cool, but I didn't even get to really try it, unfortunately. And honestly, my opinion has soured even more on it after reading this really great review that I'll link this review in the description box on somethingawful.com. And it's an amazing, humorous review that really kind of drives home why Watch Dogs is like the game design in Watch Dogs is something I think we like open world games in general. I think I might be done with them for a while unless we see some real innovation in this genre, because it is getting a bit old here. And you know, it's a shame that this game had so much promise and that in the end it's kind of like it's like kind of something made of pieces that I've played in other games before and done better in other games too in a lot of ways. Like I did enjoy Grand Theft Auto 5 quite a bit more than this. But yeah, unfortunately a disappointment, Watch Dogs, but at the same time, it's not a terrible game by any means. I mean, I guess I come away from it thinking that it's just an average game. Sorry guys, I went a bit long on Watch Dogs, but it is the game I wanted to talk about the most in this video. The next game, Mario Kart 8, and actually a driving game, which by the way, Watch Dogs, the driving controls are pretty bad. Probably the worst driving controls I've ever played with in an open world game. Driving controls are fantastic in this game though. Of course, Mario Kart 8, I think pretty much anyone that has a Wii U went and got this game. I'm actually not the biggest Mario Kart guy, I have to admit. I've always liked the series. I've just actually never bought one on release day. And this is actually the first one I've ever gotten on release day. Just recently we had another gaming podcast. They had an AGP game night, which a ton of people showed up. We had a ton of fun. I really enjoyed that. Looking forward to the next one, which great online play in this game, by the way. It is a shame though there's like no voice chat in game when you're actually racing, so we had to get on Skype there to talk with each other. But had a blast. And this might be my favorite Mario Kart game. I know that might not be saying much as someone that's never been huge into the series, but first off, this game looks fucking gorgeous. Maybe a controversial statement, this might be the best looking game I've ever played, and I know it's, of course it's not pushing as many polygons or whatever as some PS4 games and high-end PC games, but I think just from a visual standpoint, like how visually appealing it is, and how like colors are used, and just the environments themselves, it's probably one of the best looking games I've played. The soundtrack is amazing. Lots of really cool, like upbeat, jazzy tracks in this. The racing is as solid as it always has been with the Mario Kart games. I mean, there really hasn't been a bad Mario Kart game. Some of the characters in this, though, are kind of weird. I don't know. Some of the character selections are kind of lazy, I thought, with this game. But the track designs are amazing. I love all the tracks. I really like the new tracks in this. There's a lot of good ones. You know, it's got a good level of difficulty if you're trying to 100% it. I think you got to get like a gold cup on like every single race in the game, even on mirror mode, to get like the golden car or whatever. I'll never be able to do that. Like 150cc, the computers in this game completely demolish me. In fact, overall, I'm really bad at this game. Like at the AGP game night, I was doing terrible. The one complaint with this game a lot of people bring up, and I have to agree with, is the battle mode. Before, it was always like arena tracks, like these very kind of small arena areas, and battle mode was always fun that way. In this game, it's like the normal tracks, and there's only a limited selection that you can choose from, which is kind of weird. It makes it so that it's very hard to find people after a while. I don't know why they went with that decision. Maybe they're saving the arena stuff for DLC or something, I don't know. But that's the battle mode's kind of a disappointment. But I mean, as far as the racing goes, it's amazing. The controls are pitch perfect, and most importantly, the game is just fun as hell. It's just pure fun, you know. So this game's selling really well. I think 1.2 million copies already of this game sold, which is great. I'm glad to see, you know, that the Wii U. I think this is gonna sell a lot of Wii U's, and I'm glad for that fact. So yeah, not much to really say about it. I mean, it's Mario Kart. If you've loved Mario Kart, you're going to love this. And if you're like me, I'd say pick it up. I mean, you know, I really love this. I don't know how many more hours I'm going to put into it. It's a good game to pick up and play, though, so I can see myself coming back to it. But I'm not obsessed with the online or addicted with the online play as a lot of people tend to get with these games, but definitely enjoyable. A great game. And finally, the game I'm playing right now, Final Fantasy 13-2. I finally started this game up after playing through Final Fantasy 13 not too long ago. I'm only like an hour in right now, but already I'm impressed with how different it is. The time travel stuff is really neat. The battle system's kind of the same, which, I'm not too crazy about the battle system, but it's fine. It's definitely not linear this time around. The music's fantastic. I like the characters so far. Noel, I guess, in particular. I think so far he's an interesting character. Again, I'm not too far into this, so maybe some of my opinions will change. One thing I'm confused about, like, is there like a true ending with this game? Like, do I have to get all the artifacts to get the true ending? If so, that's kind of annoying. I don't see myself doing that. I might just have to YouTube like the real ending to this game, but I'm definitely looking forward to playing more of this game. If anyone has any like tips or anything for this game, definitely let me know. But this is what I'm focusing on. Because really, I think I'm going to, after this, just focus on some older games, because honestly, for June and July, there's nothing coming out that interests me. I gotta say, it isn't until August with Tales of Xillia 2 that a new release comes out that I'm interested in. And there are two games, though, that I am planning on picking up. Danganronpa on the Vita, I definitely want to play that. Like, I've been wanting to play that for a long time now. And then Drakengard 3 on the PS3. I'm sold on that game now. I wasn't before, especially since I didn't really care for Drakengard 1 and 2, although I did love Nier. But everything I've seen on that game, and after watching Shintai's review of that game, I have to get it. That game looks insane. The gameplay looks fun. I'm definitely going to grab that. But that's it, guys. I didn't want this video to go on too long. That's what I've been playing recently. Let me know what you've been playing. And that will about do it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.